Checking for echoes.
We already checked. Matt called in. All right. Smithville Board of Aldermen meeting is now called to order. Please stand and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is Constitution Week. Heather. Hi. Heather Ward's here to, you can go right in.
Oh, I gotta get my phone on. Yeah.
So next week, and Linda will be back, but September 17th through 23rd is Constitution Week. This marks the 236th anniversary of drafting the Constitution of the United States of America. There we go.
I appreciate that.
Next item on the agenda is the public hearing for the property tax. Next item on the agenda is item number 4, public hearing for the 2023 property tax levy rate to lower the general tax rate from 0.4126 to 0.3869. The purpose of the public hearing is for the Board of Aldermen to hear testimony related to the proposed 2023 property tax levy rate. Ms. Wagner.
I will just highlight a few items. We annually set the property tax rate. We've had discussions throughout the budget development process. We must wait on the tax information submitted by both Clay and Platte counties. We are predominantly in Clay County, but we have a few residences in Platte County. We have to have the assessed valuations from the county assessor's office before we are able to use the state formula to come up with our tax rate. Then we have to submit that information to the Department of Revenue for them to review and approve so that we can post information for a public hearing. That information has to be posted for a week. We received the certified information from Clay County last Tuesday. And we're working to get that information around to be able to post so that we would be able to have the meeting this evening. We have anticipated, and for the last several years, because the timing of when we get the information from Clay County, we are pushed right up to the deadline. The tax rate must be certified by the end of this month. So you all have to act on that. We typically anticipate doing that as an emergency emergency approval by approving on first and second reading at the same time, because we've been having those conversations. The Hancock Amendment does outline the formula by which we set that rate based on those valuations. We are allowed to take growth from new construction, and there is a multiplier for CPI that allows a slight increase. However, the rates go down typically as assessed valuations go up. And that is reflected in the rate that's presented for your review this evening. The tax rate, as the mayor mentioned, for 2022 was 0.4126. That's just over 41 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. And it rolls back to 38.69 cents for the 2023. I do apologize. The notice of property tax levy hearing information does include some language that was confusing about this evening's meeting. That is language that had been we use the same notice annually. We received the information last week. A number of us were out for a conference and we received the information on our phones to review, and we're communicating back here to get the information updated. We were focused on ensuring that the numbers were reflected correctly in the public notice and did not omit the notice information about um, concerns for public safety and meetings requiring modification. That's language we used when we were meeting with limited or no people here and all remote. We've obviously moved away from that. The agenda reflected otherwise. So again, I do apologize for that confusion.
Next, if you have other concerns related to 2023 property tax levy rate, those concerns can be brought forward during agenda item number 8. Persons wishing to be heard should have checked in with the city clerk and given their name and address. Each person will have 3-minute time limit. Public hearing for the 2023 property tax levy rate is now open. Do we have any? Being no further testimony, close the public hearing for 2023 property tax levy rate. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. Any discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, all opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the committee reports, planning and zoning. Alderman Wilson.
At our planning and zoning meeting, we got the update that we have 25 single-family resident permit, and there were a few more that are being close to having their permits submitted. We had a good lengthy discussion regarding drafting of an ordinance for short-term rentals. Mr. Hendricks mentioned electronic vehicle charging stations and accessory dwelling units being items that planning and zoning should start having discussions on. Fairview Crossing, North construction is progressing along. The transfer station site plan should be presented to planning and zoning before long. And last, they shared the comprehensive, I think this was on Facebook too, shared that the comprehensive dashboard is live and up and going on the city's website. And I'd like to share to access that. You go to the city's homepage. And then under community, you get to know us. And then under the 2030 comprehensive plan, there's a link for you to access that dashboard with instructions on how to use it. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Next item is the city administrator's report, Ms. Wagner.
I'll quickly follow up to Alderman Wilson's comment about the comprehensive plan dashboard information. We had included information in a previous city administrator's report that we were working to develop that. Want to acknowledge Jack and Myra's efforts in putting that together. It's a really nice and useful interactive tool, and do highly recommend people go out and take a look at that. It tracks our progress on all those goals outlined through the comprehensive plan update process. My report this evening, relatively small here, a lot of project updates. Work on the crack seal or slurry seal project, Quincy Boulevard, 4th Street and 4th Terrace improvements. Chuck and I were talking earlier this week. He really does want to express his appreciation to the neighbors on both of those projects. There's a lot going on in both of those neighborhoods, and sometimes you can't get there from here, but they have been incredibly patient and are excited with the improvements that are occurring there. And they've been nothing but really, really tremendous to work with. So we appreciate that and are working with contractors to minimize the impact of construction on those residents, and are looking forward to completing those projects. We also do, for each of those projects, as we've outlined before, have project updates online there as well. So those can be checked out, and those are updated every Friday. I do want to note in the city administrator's report, I did note, and Mayor and I have talked, it has been tradition that when we have an issue, either an election of aldermen or an item on the ballot, we move the meeting to the Monday prior to the election date. That would be November 6th. At the time that we put the information together for the agenda, we had a couple of items that could be on the agenda for the 6th, or could potentially wait till the second meeting in November, which is actually the Tuesday of Thanksgiving. Wanted to determine the board's, would you all like to have a meeting on the 6th, or move it all to I believe it's the 21st?
I prefer the 6th. I mean, even when it's a presidential election year and we don't have anything on the ballot, we tend to not have the meeting. So we can do it Monday before, that'd be fine.
Okay. And it will be probably a pretty limited, it appears now we may have 2 to 3 items at this point, and that could grow. So
Anybody want to meet Thanksgiving week?
we do have items on the agenda for Thanksgiving week though as well. And some of those items that we would have on the 6th would be ordinances that will require a second reading. So
Under the thought process, we have both.
just wanted to make sure. So we'll do the one that would regularly be on the 7th, which is election day. We'll move to the 6th and we'll have the second meeting of the month on the 21st.
That's good.
Great. Thank you.
Any questions? Ms. Wagner? Passed around the copy of the Destination Safe Grant from MoDOT. All the board members need to sign that, please. And there's multiple pages, so make sure you sign all of them. Next item on the agenda is number 8, Alderman Yulidol.
Motion to approve bill number 3004-23, setting the 2023 property rate emergency ordinance sponsored by Mayor Boley for first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Yes.
Discuss just on this, as far as the property tax rate. Just in the emergency ordinance piece of it, it's kind of a. First of all, I hope everybody caught that it's lowering than what it was previously. That means that you still might have your evaluation higher, you still might pay more, but the tax levy piece that we're here discussing is actually lower. So just wanted to throw that out there to everybody that it's a lower tax rate than it was previously. So that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're required by law to lower the rate when the values go up for the Hancock Amendment, and we have to do it as a emergency reading unless we wanted to meet twice this week because it has to be done. And Clay County, even though we moved the date to October 1st from September 1st, they still took extra time to get those numbers to us. So Kearney had theirs last night. A few others had theirs. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Russell.
Aye.
Alderman Yulidol,
Aye.
Alderman Shipley.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance fixing the annual rate of levy on all taxable property within the city of Smithville, Missouri for the year 2023 pursuant to 67.110 RSMO.
Thank you. Second reading, Alderman Yulidol.
Motion to approve bill number 3004-23, setting the 2023 property rate setting the 2023 property rate emergency ordinance sponsored by Mayor Boley, second reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Russell.
Aye.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Yulidol.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance fixing the annual rate of levy on all taxable property within the city of Smithville, Missouri for the year 2023 pursuant to 67.110 RSMO.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 9, Alderman Yulidol.
Motion to approve bill number 3005-23, stormwater plan illicit discharge, first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Russell.
Aye.
Alderman Yulidol,
Aye.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman. Muted.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance amending section 520.110 dumping or depositing dirt, rock, or other materials and enacting in its place a new ordinance, section 520.110 dumping or depositing dirt, rock, or other materials or illicit discharges.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 10, Alderman Yulidol.
Motion to approve bill number 3006-23, amendment to the subdivision ordinance stormwater regulations, first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
As Mayor, I have something to, a
Yep.
question here on this one and also with the prior, is there a going to be some training for any individuals within the city to additional training required.
You want to answer that?
Chuck, it's all you.
Thank you. For city staff, are you talking, Alderman Russell? Yes, Myra's been going to a lot of the MS4 permit training, and has been learning about what we need to be doing. And then we will train our staff in-house. There's also there's a lot of webinars and stuff on it now. DNR sends us invitations all the time. There is some hands-on training, that they have, but usually it's way down in, Jeff City, that area. And to send our guys down there is just not feasible. If they have anything up in the Kansas City region, we'll be sending our staffs to those. But right now it's mostly webinars from Jefferson City unless Myra goes, and then she's learning about it. And then just on the flip side, we will be putting together some materials for HOAs and stuff like that to get out to them here probably about the end of the year, first of next year. Really, it's to gear up for next spring. What's required with the new regulations, and what does it mean? And where can they go to find additional information? We'll have to put up a whole stormwater website, so we'll get that stuff out.
Okay, Chuck, thank you.
Yeah.
And any additional costs that we foresee that, are gonna, any big blips or anything that we need to see of training wise for this?
No, the training is usually, with DNR, it's usually sign up. there's no cost. Some of the conferences and stuff that Myra may have to go to may require a little bit of cost, but for the Parks and Rec staff, street maintenance staff, there's usually those webinars are pretty free.
Okay, Chuck, thank you.
Okay. Mhm.
Any other discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Yulidol,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Russell.
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance repealing section 425.180 subdivision maintenance provisions of the subdivision regulations of the Smithville Municipal Code and reenacting a new section 425.180 for the city of Smithville, Missouri.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 11. Alderman Yulidol. Motion to approve bill number 3007-23. City Administrator Spending Authority, first reading. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
No.
Alderman Yulidol.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Russell.
Aye.
5-1.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance repealing ordinance section 150.030 approving approval and section 150.040 competitive bidding and enacting in its place a new ordinance section 150.030 approval and section 150.040 competitive bidding.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 12. Alderman Yulidol. Motion to approve resolution 1271, purchase of drinking fountains for Main Street Trail. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I'd like to discuss this real quick, Mayor.
Sure.
In reading through this, and I know that Matt and his team have been involved in this, but it sounded like a nightmare as far as the other drinking fountains that were installed, as far as trying to get them fixed and trying to work around it. So these new fountains, I understand are going to be a lot more reliable and a lot more easy to access and get repairs if needed, right? So the company's got a warranty or something on it, I believe that, yeah, I know you guys have done a lot of work on this, so.
Yeah, so we worked with Lexington Plumbing to look at a water fountain that won't be frost free. So these will be winterized every winter. Because we do think that was an issue of water freezing and parts breaking. So even though it said it was frost free, we just don't think it was put in right, but we're way over the warranty and what parts can be used, and the parts that went out were of course not under warranty either. So even if they went out in a year, it wouldn't have mattered either. So just bad luck. honestly. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor of approving resolution 1271, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Any public comment? Any new business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? All opposed, say no. Stand adjourned. Yeah, I think it. Alderman Russell, did you get that signed so you could pass it this way? Yeah.
Yeah.